Cool. This next one is another Dirt Poor Robins song. I checked one out last week, and I loved it. And then the next day, I think we went to eat in South Bend, about half hour away. And I'm like, hey, let's listen to this band. So we just listened to them all the way there. And man's like, this is really cool stuff. I said, I know. I put out my video, my reaction to them, and Dirt Poor Robins saw it and liked it, and then they shared it. Said, you know, I really like this reaction. I'm like, fucking cool, dude. So the guy heard me geeking out over his guitar and everything else. All right, so here's another song by Dirt Poor Robins called SCARECROWS. This is for Wino. He requested the first one, and his only note is because yes.
Although it's right to stay and fight, the two of us are not quite fortified. With the battle of our lives on the horizon.
I'll start it over, but listening to him, I mean, there honestly wasn't a lot like the last song, Fever Dream. But the music was very movie score-ish, very cinematic. A lot of Danny Elfman feels from it. That's what I got from it. But yeah, all very, very good stuff. So we'll start over.
Although it's right to stay and fight, the two of us are not quite fortified. With the battle of our lives on the horizon, neophytes, we're none the wiser. I can testify, we won't survive. For are we scarecrows, all sentinels, standing strong of foam and nailed down to a pole? Will we ever grow a proper sense of panic in a world so inorganic? Or do you suppose with straw-filled clothes? For the way we were was the way we learned to live. We couldn't give the things we never had to give. But when we fall, we might ascend and begin again. No hope, but if we run and see the world left to its own, heaven knows that if we flee for our survival, peace would leave on our arrival. Oh no, we left behind our shameless minds. For the way we were was the way we learned to live. We couldn't give the things we never had to give. But when we fall, we may ascend and begin again. Remember when you found my bones? Remember that I told you so. I told you so. And when my ashes fall like snow, remember that I told you so. I told you so. I told you so.
Yeah, those harmonies.
Though they've begun to load their guns, as long as breath still fills the chambers of our lungs, you will find a shouting truth as from a turret. See if faith can stop a bullet and watch the broken the way we learned to live. We couldn't give the things we never had to give. But when we fall, we must ascend and begin again.
Wow, dude. The song is called Scarecrows. That's amazing. Wow. So much. The harmonies, their voices together are just beautiful. The digital, like, old school kind of sounds they're using to fill it. It's just, I mean, it reminded me of Queen. A couple points. It was like listening to Queen. And this is another, it's like not stuff I would usually gravitate to, but it's so good. It's just undeniable, Bleak but hopeful, yeah. I mean, you can keep doing the same shit. You can change and make a difference, but yeah, really cool. Really, really cool stuff. Everything I heard from was that quality. It's just they set a high bar for themselves.